You know the feeling, right? You're staring at a task, a project, a blank page, and you're just waiting. Waiting for that magical spark of motivation to show up and do all the heavy lifting for you. But what if we've been looking at this whole thing completely backwards? What if motivation isn't something we wait for at all?
Yeah, he just waits. It's that quiet, passive state we all know so well, just waiting.
You're hoping that some internal switch is going to flip, that all of a sudden you'll just want to do the thing you know you're supposed to be doing.
And of course, you're hoping that if you just wait a little bit longer, the resistance will fade, the friction will kind of melt away, and the task will just, magically simplify itself.
You're waiting for that moment the fog is supposed to lift and everything becomes crystal clear. But you're still waiting. And you're still waiting.
And this is the fundamental shift we have to make. Motivation isn't some visitor that just decides to knock on your door. It's a path you have to build yourself, one single brick at a time. You see, the biggest thing holding us back is how we think about motivation in the first place. We treat it like the weather, something that just happens to us. But the truth is, it's something we have to make happen.
So let's just redefine it right now. Motivation isn't the feeling you need to start something. It's the feeling you get from starting. It's an output of your action, not an input for it.
Now, to really get why this mindset shift is so important, we got to look at the alternative. What happens when we just keep waiting? Well, the cost is way higher than just a little bit of lost time. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's night and day. The path of waiting, it's a downward spiral. A really negative self-image starts to form, and you begin to believe you're just different, that you're missing something everyone else has. But the path of creation, that's an upward spiral. Taking action builds confidence, and that confidence fuels, you guessed it, more action.
This whole waiting game creates this incredibly toxic inner monologue. And this isn't just about putting things off, it starts to become about your identity. You tell yourself a story that you're incapable, and if you tell yourself that story long enough, you start to believe it.
Okay, so if we're not waiting for it, we have to build it. So, what are the materials? What's the blueprint? Well, turns out there's a really simple but super powerful three-part framework for doing exactly that.
All right, first, you shape your environment. You make the right choice the easy choice. Like putting your running shoes right by the front door. It's all about lowering the friction. Second, you build a system, a simple, repeatable process that doesn't depend on willpower. And third, and this one is absolutely the most important, you engineer a small, immediate first success. See what's happening here? We're not waiting for inspiration to strike, we're becoming architects of our own momentum. Instead of just hoping for a good result, you design a process where small, positive results are basically guaranteed.
And this brings us to the most powerful part of the whole framework. It's the antidote to that negative inner voice we were talking about. It's the spark that ignites everything, that first success.
This is the key. Seriously, the goal is not to complete some huge, intimidating task all at once. The goal is simply to prove to yourself that you are not powerless, that you can take one tiny step. Not tomorrow, not when you feel like it, but right now.
One. That's it. One sentence written, one dish washed, one email sent. The psychological power of going from 0 to 1 it's just massive. It shatters that inertia, and it proves all that negative self-talk wrong. And that quote just nails the whole strategy. It's not about the final outcome. It's about the evidence. You are literally gathering evidence that you are a person who can take action. That first tiny win is your proof. It's the first brick you lay in the foundation of real, lasting motivation. So the next time you find yourself sitting there and just waiting for motivation to strike, ask yourself this: what if the key isn't in waiting at all, but simply in doing? What if that feeling you're so desperately looking for is on the other side of the smallest possible action you can take right here, right now?